Welcome back to Millennial Sales Masters, guys. Today we're going to be covering 5 common sales mistakes that you can make on a presentation. Today we're going to cover each of these mistakes and make sure that you don't make those mistakes. But before we get started, I want to make sure that you know why you're here at Millennial Sales Master and why you should hit like and subscribe. It's because as a sales professional or as a professional, we should always be wanting to learn and to grow. I haven't arrived. I definitely don't know everything, but I do continue to learn and continue to grow. And so if you want to continue to grow and to become a master, you should hit like and subscribe to this channel. And feel free to ask questions on what you need help on or what would help you the most to improve your craft. Now, part of becoming a Millennial Sales Master, what does it really mean to master your craft? It means that you become so good at what you do that it becomes more and more effortless to become successful. That as you become great and a master within sales, it should become easier and easier for you to replicate the success and to keep growing and being more successful as you go. So now let's get to it. 5 common sales mistakes that are made that you want to avoid. Number 1 is don't spill the marbles in the lobby. And what I mean by that is a lot of salespeople want to tell everything they know to their prospective client. They hear a couple things and all of a sudden they want to go ahead and try and showcase their product because of what they've got right out of the gate. So don't spill the marbles in the lobby. Another way of looking at this is know all you say, right? Don't tell all you know, right? Know all you say, but don't say all you know. Meaning that know what you have, but don't share it all right out of the gate. So, number 1 common mistake salespeople make is spilling the marbles in the lobby. Next common sales mistake is being too forceful or too aggressive. And that's where you develop this sneaky odor of what's called commission breath and you turn a client off. A good analogy for this is sales is not karate, it's judo. And what's the difference in karate and sales? In karate, it's forceful. You're punching, you're kicking, you're attacking. But in judo, you are using body and changing elevation to put your opponent down on the ground. So there's a difference between karate and there's a difference between judo. And part of being great at sales or becoming a master is knowing how to take somebody and throw them on the ground without being the aggressor and getting in their face. So common mistake number 2, being too forceful. Third common mistake salespeople make is they count the commission in the middle of their month. You never want to count commission. Most of us in the sales professional world, we're trying to earn as much commission as we can, but a lot of times we get middle of the month and we go, oh, I've made, $7 grand or $8 grand or 10 grand, and we go, well, that's pretty good, and our mind shifts from performing and knocking out a month and having a great month to, I'm happy with the amount of money I've made. So even if you're happy with the amount of money you've made, remember, you're not in sales because you want a ceiling on your income. You're in sales because you want to be able to make as much money as possible. So one of the worst mistakes you can make in becoming a master at sales is counting your commission. So my recommendation would be have an idea of what you've made, what you've earned, what you want to make, but don't count the commission. Count the success and keep driving and keep moving forward, because that's how you're going to have your best months, is when you're not counting how much money you've made. Because a lot of times you take your foot off the pedal and you start kind of cruising once you've made the commission amount in that month that you're going to be happy with. So, third mistake, don't count the commission. Okay, fourth big mistake that salespeople make is they don't listen, right? So God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. And a lot of times we think that we can just talk and sell a product. But a lot of selling is listening, because people don't care what you know until they know how much you care. And the only way you can show them that you care is by listening to what's important to them and what they want. So one thing I would say is don't make the mistake of not listening. And the way you show you're not listening is by talking about aspects of the product that don't relate to the client. So I would say become a good listener and don't make the mistake of not listening. The fifth and final mistake that salespeople make And this is one that you really don't want on your resume for mistakes. But they don't know the product. They're not an expert at what the product can offer. You know, the worst thing you can do is have a client ask you a question and you don't have an answer, and you're fumbling over your words and you don't know how to express an answer because you legitimately don't know how to answer the question. And so if you're going to be great at what you do, if you're going to be a master, you have to know everything about that product. You should be immersing yourself in all aspects of whatever you are selling, so that when a question is asked, you can articulate a professional answer in a way that conveys trust to a client, where they go, wow, I'm doing business with somebody who knows what they're talking about and they're professional, and it lends credibility to the entire presentation. So 5 common mistakes were: don't spill the marbles in the lobby. Number 2, don't be too forceful or too aggressive with your client, right? Number 3, don't take your eye off the prize. Don't give yourself the ability to take your foot off of the gas pedal. Don't count the commission, run the score, right? And number 5 common mistake is not knowing the product, right? Not knowing what you're selling, not knowing the ins and outs of the product. So number 5, common mistake, not knowing the product. Make sure you're the master of your product. In your sales environment, nobody should know more about the product than you. And if there is somebody that knows more about the product than you, then you need to go be picking their brain to find out everything they know, so that you're the one who knows the most about the product. Right? So those are your 5 common mistakes that salespeople make. Do your best to avoid them and watch your sales grow. If you like this video, if this helps you, if you want to continue to grow, then like, subscribe, and comment below so I can kind of help you with your growth and answer questions.